Here we go.
Alright, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be trying to make a tier list for tanks and healers in WoW Classic Season of Discovery. Disclaimer, that's just my opinion on speculating on how everything's going to go once Season of Discovery releases tomorrow. But I think we've got a pretty clear picture of what's going to happen, so we'll go ahead and jump into this. Remember, if you like this kind of content, though, be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz, and we'll just jump right into this. Alright, so we're going to tackle the tanks first. Let's start it off with the warrior. I'm going to put the warrior on A tier, I believe, for right now, just because they're really not getting a lot new in Season of Discovery with the runes. They are getting some utility things for tanking, but honestly, they were so good at tanking before that they really didn't need all that much. So I'm gonna put them on A tier, mainly because I don't think there's going to be that many warrior tanks running around. You know, I think everybody's going to be all excited about the new classes that can tank in Season of Discovery, so I just don't think they're going to be that common. Let's go with Warlock next. I am going to put the Warlock on S tier, just because, number one, it's new. There's going to be a lot of them, right? A lot of people are really going to want to try out the Warlock tanking. They also have AoE capabilities, making pulling groups a lot easier, especially with when you get Metamorphosis. Your Shadow Bolt will turn into like a mini AoE. I think it'll hit up to 3 targets on a 6-second cooldown. That's going to be really good, as well as instant cast Searing Pain. So I really think their threat is going to be top notch, and their survivability is going to be pretty good, especially with Voidwalker's Sacrifice. They're going to have some really good cooldowns for surviving. I think the Warlock tank is going to be one of the best in Season of Discovery. Alright, let's see. Shaman, B tier. I'm going to put the Shaman on B tier. The main reason I'm going to do that, though, is because I don't feel like they have the AoE capability to make it easy enough to pull groups and keep threat on groups as easy as other classes. So I'm going to drop them into B tier just because I just really don't think they're going to be as good. That's my whole problem with the Shaman. I think they're going to struggle with pulling packs of mobs. That brings us to, where'd I see it? Let's go ahead and do the Druid. Oh, wait, we got a bear form icon here. I'm going to put the Druid in A tier. And for tanking, I'm going to put the Druid in A tier, because I really don't feel like you're going to want to see that many Druid tanks. You're going to want a Feral Druid in every group you're in because of the Wind Fury thing, but that's going to fit more for cat form than bear form. If you're trying to tank, there's a survivability rune that is going to be much better for bear form, so I don't think you're going to want the Druid tank. They are, you know, there's nothing wrong with the Druid tanks. They are going to be really good. But I feel like most Druid players are going to be pushed into playing Feral Cat for the Wind Fury. And honestly, as many classes as can tank in the new season of Discovery, I don't really feel like that's a bad thing. I think there will be enough tanks to go around for whatever you're doing. Okay, so next up, what is a good icon for? I guess we'll have to use this one for the rogue. Oh, no, wait, here we go. Rogue is B tier, possibly C tier. And the reason I'm saying that is because exactly the same thing I was saying for the Shaman. No AoE damage. None. The Shaman is actually in a better position for tanking than the Rogue because of Chain Lightning and the Magma Totems. While maybe not being all that effective or all that great, at least it's there. The Rogue has nothing for AoE. So I think the Rogue will do fine tanking bosses, but just packs of mobs, like 3 or more in a group, that's going to be a struggle for a Rogue. I mean, and as far as I've seen, I haven't seen any answer to that problem at all coming out for the Rogues. So yeah, we're going to put them B, C tier, you know, somewhere in there. I'll actually leave them on B tier, but I don't have a lot of confidence in the rogue tanks, to be sure. So next up, Paladin, S tier. So Season of Discovery, their mana issues have been addressed with the runes. It's the one where you get the taunt, which you are absolutely going to want to take as a paladin tank anyways. But there's other things in that rune that address the mana inefficiency of paladin tanks in Classic. So that's going to be really good. Consecration, Avengers Shield, they're going to have the tools to be the best tanks, I think, in Classic. Maybe not the absolute best for tanking bosses, but overall, they are going to be really good and really strong. So let me see here. Is that everybody? Paladin, Warlock, Warrior, Druid, Shaman, Rogue. I think we've hit all of the tanks. So let's jump into the healers here real quick. Okay, so for the healers, I'm not even going to move these. I'm going to leave them up here for you. For the healers, though, we're going to go with the Priest. I'm going to put them on S tier because they were already pretty much the best healers in Classic. And they're adding to their toolkit with the runes. So I really expect them to be top tier, definitely. Resto Shaman, I'm going to... you know, most of the healers are really good in Season of Discovery with the runes they're getting and everything. This is going to be a tough list to do. Shaman healers not as good as the Priest. I don't feel like that they come close. So I'm going to drop them down into A tier, maybe even B tier. But we'll leave them on A tier. They're pretty good with Chain Heal. They're getting Healing Rain. A few other things. They could go either way, honestly. we'll see how that ends up. Druid. I'm going to put it on A tier just because I don't really like healing on a Druid. And, not having a res, even if you do have the battle res, and that is really nice to have, but not having a regular res is very annoying to me. But honestly, in Classic, they are really strong. And from the runes they're going to get, they're going to be even stronger, but I can't make myself put them on S tier. And I don't really want to encourage people to be playing a Druid healer in Season of Discovery because I'm going to be as bad as anyone else when it comes to Druids. If you're going to play a Druid in Season of Discovery, I think you should be playing cat form. I mean, just simple as that. Every single group is going to want the cat form. So I'm going to leave the Resto Druid at A tier. You can argue with me on that one. I'll accept it. But yeah, for me personally, I'm putting it on A tier. Holy Paladin is getting Beacon of Light. So they're going to be really strong. They were already really strong. Their only real downside in Classic. Now, you know what? I'm going to put Holy Paladin on A tier. And I have a reason for that. I have a reason for that. Especially early game. Now, late game, level 60, I would move the Paladin up to S tier. But since we're stopping at level 25, the gear is not optimized for a Paladin healer. You don't have the mana regen, you don't have the spell crit. And Spirit is really not that great for a Paladin healer. It's not bad. It's going to be the best thing you can probably find for a Paladin healer. You're going to want to stack Intel and Spirit at level 25 probably. But the gear just is not optimized for a Paladin healer in Classic at all. Until you get to the end game. So that's literally the only thing that I'm going to say will pull the Paladin healer down to an A tier healer instead of an S tier. But it is, it is an issue in Classic, and yeah. So now we're going to hit the big one. Mage tank or mage healer, sorry. B tier. I know it's new and shiny and we're all excited to try. I myself am really excited to try the mage healer because it's new and I want to see how it works and all the ins and outs of how you're going to heal. But here's the big thing about it. Arcane spells for the mage in Classic are not mana efficient at all. Okay, so you're going to have Arcane Missiles and Arcane Explosion, and neither one of them is really all that great. Arcane is going to be the only magic type that provides healing from the damage you cause. So you are going to be playing Arcane if you are healing. Yeah, I foresee some serious mana issues, and that is taking into account the mage has evocation and mana gems on top of potions and everything else. I still think that mana is going to be a huge problem for a mage healer. We'll see. I could be wrong. I'm just, I'll own up to it if I'm wrong about it. But I think they're going to be a blast to heal dungeons with. but I am really concerned with their staying power for longer raid boss fights, if that makes sense. I think there may be some issues there. We'll have to wait and see until tomorrow when it comes out. Well, longer than tomorrow, because we don't even know if the healing runes are going to be available at level 25 or not. So, yeah, that's still kind of up in the air. We're not real sure about that. Hopefully we'll get some clarification on that tomorrow. Is that all the healers? Really? Druid, Paladin, Shaman, Priest, and now the Mage? That is all the healers. I thought there were more. For some reason I had it stuck in my head there'd be 6 different healers, but yeah, there's not. Okay, so that's just my opinion on the rankings for the healers, right? So, and the tanks. I mean, so take this with a grain of salt. And also keep in mind that Season of Discovery isn't even out yet. We have no idea how effective these runes are actually going to be and what runes we're going to have by level 25. They could gate some of the runes into higher levels and we won't get to try like the Warlock tanking or the Mage healing, you know, stuff like that. That could be not an option at level 25. I personally think that we're going to have access to those runes early on just because it's new, it's shiny, it's what everybody wants. I think they're going to make it available pretty early on, but I could be wrong. So just keep that in mind. All this is subject to change once we get into the season and see how everything works. I hope you're all excited about this. Feel free to disagree with me on the rankings here in the comments. I would love to hear what other people think about the different classes and their new roles and their old roles and all that. So be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'll catch you tomorrow in Season of Discovery.